Shermy and Beth, could they be the reincarnations of Finn and Jake? Hold your horses, it's not as straightforward as it sounds. I've got a little theory cooking that does more than just answer that. It introduces a major curveball in the Adventure Time story, so stay with me till the finish line and you'll have all the secrets spilled. Are Shermy and Beth actually the reincarnations of our beloved Finn and Jake? You might think Shermy takes after Finn and Beth is all Jake-like, but guess what? It's the complete opposite. Yup, Shermy's got all that Jake energy, while Beth is totally channeling Finn's vibes. I know it's a whole roller coaster of emotions, but hey, stay with me, because we're gonna dive deep into all the deets that led us to this wild revelation. Trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Okay, get this. Shermy's got this whole vibe going on that takes us back to the good old days of Finn's childhood innocence. For real, his awesome curiosity and love of adventure say it all. Like, he's totally rocking that live in the moment spirit that we've seen in Finn before, right? And let me tell you about Beth. Beth's life is just jam-packed with twists and turns. I mean, she starts out as this big shot princess of the pup kingdom, right? But then bam, she's exiled and out on her own. Pretty wild, huh? For some reason, her story just kind of reminds you of Jake, right? It's just oozing with intrigue if you ask me. Isn't it nuts how the link between Beth, Jake, Shermy, and Finn just keeps getting stronger? Even with all those ways Finn and Jake are like Shermy and Beth, don't you think there's still more to their story? It's like there's this little puzzle piece that's not quite snapping into place, right? You might be thinking, like, what's up with all these connections between Shermy and Finn and Beth and Jake if it's just to throw us off? Well, that's just the sheer brilliance of Adventure Time's creators. They totally played our expectations in the big finale, making us all believe that Shermy's like Finn's next life and Beth's Jake's. But oh man, the real story's got way more layers. Okay, first things first, we gotta take a look at why Finn and Jake would pick the lives they did when they got reincarnated. Now let's have a think about Jake. Anybody who knows Jake knows he's all about living it up and enjoying the ride. He's your classic laid-back, happy-go-lucky guy who wants to soak up every second of life. So when he said,
"I'm just coming back for fun, because it's great being alive with you,"
you know that means he's looking for a life that's even more wild and free than before. And isn't that just exactly what Shermy's like? I mean, come on, Shermy's the epitome of footloose, full of energy and just a natural born rule breaker with a serious passion for life, am I right? This idea solidifies even more when we consider a very small yet significant detail, the tropical island song.
On a tropical island.
So Jake came up with this catchy tune and sung it just once, but then 1,000 years later, our pal Shermy is singing the same exact song.
On a tropical island. On a tropical island.
Now you tell me, is it really possible for a random, one-time song to hang around for a millennium? Or doesn't it seem way more likely that Shermy, as Jake's reincarnation, brought this musical gem back from his past life? I mean, isn't it super cool how our heroes' personalities just keep vibing through time? But hey, we can't forget about Finn, can we? Let's dive into his whole reincarnation deal. Deep down, Finn's got this hidden side, this yearning for knowledge and peace. It's like he wants to grow up and be more like Jake, who according to Finn, hit some serious enlightenment when he got to the 50th Dead World. Pretty crazy, right? So don't you think that that's kind of what Beth's journey is all about? You know, finding her own wisdom and growing up through all those tough times and feeling like an outcast? Beth is like the definition of bravery over here. I mean, she used to be this princess, right? And now she's running from danger, learning all about the school of hard knocks. You look at her life, all that madness she's trying to make sense of, and you can't help but think, hey, this kind of reminds me of Finn's wild ride. So what if, now just hear me out, what if Beth is actually like Finn coming back to life in a whole new form? As viewers, we've all been on this wild ride with Finn, right? You know that super emotional part when Finn and Jake head off to Cambodia? Finn looks at him and goes,
"Hey, this is kind of backwards, right?
How so?
I used to be all about violence. Now it's like, I'm different."
one of the most powerful lines in the whole freaking show. It just goes to show how far Finn's come, you know? From this crazy risk-taking explorer to someone really searching for peace. Now, listen to Jake's chill response, you guys. He's like,
"You're a beautiful flower and I love to watch you grow."
and I gotta say, that simple line really just gets the core of Finn's transformation, you know? I mean, this combo happens in the second to last episode, so we're pretty much hitting the peak of Finn's whole development journey. Okay, but let's rewind and talk about Shermy for a sec. Like, the way this kiddo is all bouncy, full of life, and just so free-spirited doesn't really match up with Finn's ultra-wise self, you know? It's almost as if, and stay with me here again, if Shermy was Finn's reincarnation, all that super important stuff our boy Finn learned would just like, poof, be gone. And that, my dudes, just feels kinda off. But let's look at Beth. All those wild adventures and ups and downs she's gone through, that, my friends, is like a major spiritual high five with Finn. I mean, from dealing with crazy circumstances just to stay alive to ditching her princess crown for living life on the run. Beth's journey is seriously on point with Finn's own epic roller coaster. In my humble opinion, it looks way more likely that our girl Beth, being this amazingly brave, never back down from anything powerhouse, is actually Finn's reincarnation. Now, how's that for a plot twist, huh? It just adds that extra touch of mystery to Beth's whole deal and kind of shows her as this beautiful representation of Finn's growth. Plus, let's be real, it's so totally in line with that sweet, sweet Adventure Time goodness we all know and love. Those wild stories and super deep character growth. When you start piecing together these bits of info, you're hit with a delightful twist in our tale. Instead of what we first thought, Shermy being a fresh Finn and Beth a new Jake, it seems the tables have turned. Now ain't that a trick? With this switcheroo, we get a whole new perspective on our pals Shermy and Beth. We can admire them not just as fresh faces stepping into Finn and Jake's shoes, but as individuals who soaked up the spirit of their past selves and still managed to grow into their own unique selves. And you know what? That's the magic of Adventure Time. This show is all about embracing change. Nothing stays the same, and that's what makes it downright amazing. It's the very reason our beloved Finn and Jake were able to develop so much throughout the whole series. Can't get enough of this whole reincarnation theory? And maybe you just love Finn? Well, I have the perfect news for you. Check out my most recent video where I cover all of Finn's past lives, and what I uncover is truly amazing. But as always, my friends, stay adventurous.